What's up, guys? Ranger fan, aka Buster 275, doing the whole entire Power Ranger Red Ranger collection from Bandai of America from 93 to 2009, 2010. As you can see, I have all my Red Rangers out except for the Alien Ranger, because I do not have his figure. The weapons, and I'll be doing my thoughts on the 2010 Power Ranger Samurai vs. Shuriken Ranger. How they could have probably done the figures better. Alright, now I'm going to start off with the Automorph. The Automorph came back in '93. Basically, the first time we saw a civilian head for an action figure. Probably not the first time, but the first time I can recall. For a superhero, whatever you want to call him, hero. Came with three things: the Power Sword, Blade Blaster, as well as a little Ranger tattoo of the T-Rex. I used the tattoo when I was younger. First one down. Second figure, basically, like I said, it's substituting in the Battle Bike figure, since they're the same size. Mine is very loose joint. But yeah, not much to him. There's basically just the weapon. He only came with two weapons. The sword and the blaster, I believe. The Zeo. Zeo only came with two weapons. I got the special Toys R Us Automorph set. This one's unlike the first one where you had to pop the head backwards to do the morph. This one just has a constant rotation. Came with two weapons, a blaster and the sword. Each one goes in each holster. As well as the second version for the Zeos that had battle actions. As you can see with the sword, Zeo Ranger 5 sword. What happened over time is my peg broke, so I was able to use the Zeo sword in his hand for the Automorph. Like I said, I sad that hand broke, but I was happy I was able to use the sword with them, because it made the figure look a whole lot better, like the original Automorphs. Sorry about that, if you heard it. Next, on to Turbo. Turbo had like 3 or 4 versions of the figure released. The one I have is the key action that you saw in the commercial. Put the key in the back, he gets like two actions that he does. The weapons that he came with, I believe: blaster, sword, regular sword, and then the special sword that all the Ranger team had. The other sword that I have here, I think, came with the one combining vehicle. I can't remember what it's called right now. But as you can see, the swords are basically the same thing, just this one's more articulated with the removable blade. I do apologize if this is going out of frame. Next, on to In Space. If I can get the other sword in. In Space, I only have the one weapon for, as you saw. The blaster weapon that can break into 2 parts. I'm still trying to find it. He has a light up feature, but mine doesn't work anymore. The batteries are dead. Good articulation. This is Turbo's when they first started, but they added in the ball and socket for the hip joint. That was something that stayed constant with most of the Ranger series after that. I should have mentioned. Lost Galaxy came with a couple other weapons, but I'm only doing the 2 in the show. The Trans Dagger and the Quasar Saber. They added in wrist rotation back into the figures, and they kept everything else the same. They made a hinge joint, rotator joint for the shoulder. They took that away from the Automorphs, and has a talking feature. This one does work. on to Lightspeed Rescue. The rescue bird breaks apart and I guess becomes this weapon for the Japanese version, but we never saw in the American version, don't know why, as well as his regular blaster and regular sword weapon. I gotta say, they did paint the rescue bird pretty good, even though they never used it in the show as individual weapons. Maybe once, I think, but that was about it. Time Force now. As you can see, the majority of the weapons are painted. This was a good thing that Bandai did start, in my opinion. The only one that wasn't painted was the Quasar, the Time Sabers. The only reason for that is because with the one end, they actually customized each saber so it would match the Ranger's helmet. If you can see there, just about matches if I flip it right side up. And that was one of the good things that they did with it. There are two versions of the Time Force Red Ranger. One has a rotating ability just below the shoulder, so basically rotate his arm in 360 movement. Next on the Wall Force. The figure itself, I gotta say, I hated them. I don't like them that much because there's no articulation. It's just battle moves. You squeeze the legs, it does that. You push up the switch, it does that. One arm just goes. If I can get the just one arm movement going. But I gotta say, they did do a good job with the weapons themselves. They painted all of them. I only have two. I don't have the Lion Claw, whatever you want to call it, for the Ranger himself. There we go. Like I said, this is my least favorite out of all the Ranger figures because of the lack of posability with it. No, I'm not doing 2010. Going to Ninja Storm. They went back to the way they did the Lost Galaxy through Time Force figures. Except they didn't do the hinge joint and they made the arms actually look like chainmail. Because the figures in the Rangers in show, that's the way the armor looked. It was just like a shiny thing where the main color wasn't. As well as with the they had a light feature on them, yellow on the chest, green in the visor. There's a button for that. And the weapons, they did color all the way. And they actually did some of the thing for the ability for the morpher, painting for that, but they took away the wrist articulation. Dino Thunder. This was probably, in my opinion, the smartest thing they did. Is with the Red Ranger, with all the figures, they gave them both weapons. I think they did this with Lightspeed Rescue as well. But they took away, they did not do the coloring like they did for the previous years. The staff weapon that came with the second release of Rangers that they had, basically battle action, I call them, where they came with each one of their special weapons that can combine to the Dino Thunder Blaster weapon. Unfortunately, again this year they removed the wrist articulations for to show the morpher on the hands. As well as with the weapon holder, they actually added the insignia for the Rangers. For each. They're probably going to fall, so you'll hear the crash. Wow. There you go. SPD's next. He had a lighting feature, but the LED blew out, burned out, whatever, and he just came with a blaster weapon. Nothing too special about him. I just wish Bandai actually released both versions of the blaster, both this one and the individual ones. That's it for part 1. I'll do the rest of the figures in part 2, as well as my thoughts on the new Power Rangers series coming out. Check it out.